Well, hello, welcome to an awesome webinar that you're about to experience. My name is Rob Nixon, and coming to you from Australia, and super excited to host you today to talk to you about everything numbers, everything benchmark report, everything that makes an accounting firm tick and really fly. So, bit of background as everyone comes in. We'll just spend a couple of minutes getting to know each other really quick. So this is my 31st year. I've been working with the accounting profession now for 30 years. 30 years, just gone May, worked in 18 countries, worked all over the world in a variety of capacities, whether it be speaking in front of stages, been on about 2,000 stages or so. I've educated over 200,000 accountants, written books about the profession, coached over 1,000 firms, added more than $1.5 billion worth of profit to the firms we've coached, and had a blast doing it. So today, I'm going to talk to you about our new benchmark report. But before we do, just need to make sure that you can hear me. So here's what we need to do. We're going to, this is going to be Q&A interactive today. I want you to open up the chat. So open up the chat, as Manish has just done and said, hi, Rob. Hi, Manish. Good to see you. Can you please put in hi from, wherever you're from? We're going to use the chat as our communication device here. So where are you from today? Pennsylvania, from Boston. Cool. Austin, Birmingham, Melbourne. Well, Melbourne people are early. Chicago, Dallas. A lot of Americans here. This is awesome. Brooklyn, New York. Toronto. Love Toronto. Calgary, Melbourne, Sweden. Who's from Sweden now? That went too fast. Lars from Sweden. That cool's that. Manchester. I'm assuming Manchester, England, Steve. Gold Coast, we've got more Melbourne, North Idaho, Austin. Wow, we are from all over. We had 616 people register for this team. So it's been an awesome, so far, interest to you. So let's hope it stacks up. I'm sure it will. So this webinar is all about this report here, the Accountants Benchmark Report 2024. Let me give you some top line highlights to whet the appetite, as it were, to get into this. We had, at a glance, 323 firms respond to go into it. The revenue ranged from 650,000 to 9 million, which is really cool. We had 73% between 1 and 6 million, 73% between 1 and 6. Interesting, this report was very much based on profitability and growth. Didn't disappoint. What happened there? Come here. That's like that, right? We had the median growth was 13% growth, top line growth. By the way, the growth without acquisitions. The best growth we had that we reported on was 42%. We had a couple that were really tiny firms that had much higher growth than that. We decided not to go there. We had on total median profit per partner, $503,000 median profit per partner, which is really cool. We had, excuse me, the best profit per partner, 13% were more than $1 million profit. Like, that is so cool, right? 13% of all respondents were making more than $1 million. I've been banging on about this for a decade. You can make more than $1 million profit whilst you work less than 500 client delivery hours. That's what we're all about. And 13% here did, which is really cool progress. The highest profit number was $4 million. Interesting, this particular firm last year was also the highest at just over $3 million. So a lot of exciting highlights, and we're going to dig into these today. I want you to get your fingers ready on your keyboard with the chat to ask questions as we go through, and all questions will be answered. Unless they're really stupid questions, but we'll see what they are, right? So, team, let's get into it. First of all, we have an unhidden agenda here. We are doing this out of love for sure, but we are in the coaching business, and we've got capacity to coach 16 firms right now, between now, getting started right now in the USA and Canada. So if you are more than $1 million in revenue, if you're 1 to 5 aligned partners, if you're ambitious, because we're going to push you a bit, and you're coachable, you must implement, then let's meet to see if we can help. We'll put the meeting details in the chat. So if you just look at the details now, I'll put the meeting details in the chat. And oops, boom, boom, boom. Meeting details in the chat. Maybe one of the team can put the meeting details in the chat, or you can just go into the QR code and get them there, which is what you should do anyway. So let me just see if I can get that. Bear with me a minute, team. Move that, move that, move that. Meeting details into the chat. There. Cool. All right. Access to the report. Yes, Natalie. Access to the report. You're getting that. If you haven't got it already, many do. You are getting that in an email. You can download the report after this. There's a link to it in the email because you've registered. So yes, you'll get the report. It's 45 pages, Natalie, full of goodness. And I'm just going to give you the highlights to it today. So what are we helping you to implement? We're helping you to implement what we call AOS. And I want to take on a bit of a journey here. AOS is the accountant's operating system. And what it is a best practice way, end-to-end best practice way to help you do three things. After 30 years of working with firms all over the world, seeing what works and seeing what does not work, right? And listening and learning from firms all the time, showing you how to reduce personal time dramatically, how to increase profitability, and how to build a more sustainable business. Reduce personal time, increase profit, build a sustainable business, all good things, right? Now, I want you to get thinking about some things with your progression of your business, your accounting business. There are 3 levels that you can take this accounting business to. There may be more, but this is what we work with, right? You can decide to be what we call practice owner, a practitioner practicing their craft, a practitioner practicing their craft. You can do that for sure, right? You learn at the craft of being an accountant, you become a partner, you start your own firm, you buy into the firm you're at, whatever it is, and typically you're a practitioner practicing. And often you're grinding it out, working way too much in this business, grinding it out, working way too much in it. And the money's okay, but you don't have a huge amount of time because you're busy all the time. And seriously, at $500,000 profit per partner median, the money's okay. We like to flip a switch. Flip a switch and say, let's turn you into a business owner. Now, it's not just about a mindset of being a business owner. It's about an activity as well. And the activity is where you're spending more time working on it than in it. So you're off the tools more, not 100% yet. And now we can spend more time growing and developing this accounting business rather than doing what the accounting business does. And it's a big flip, right? It's a big flip. And here, more money, more time. But there's a level 3. And level 3, if you choose to, is get into what we call investor model. And this is where, as the owner of the accounting business, you are an owner, but not an operator. An owner, but not an operator. You've gotten yourself out of every single job. You've hired a business manager to run the day-to-day. You've hired a marketing manager to market the business. You've hired salespeople to sell what you sell. You've hired a senior tax manager. You've hired managers. You've hired people who do the review work, administrators. You've grown the team, and your roles are no more. You've gotten yourself out of every client relationship. This webinar and the benchmark report is here for education. It's here for what to do, but it's also here for inspiration, because you're going to meet some firms that have done just that. They've gotten themselves out of every job. And if you did that, then what would happen is you wouldn't sell it. Why would you sell it, right? You've got a business that ticks over. It produces $1-2 million a year or whatever it is. You're the owner or owners, and you now create generational wealth. You decide here how far and how fast you go. From practice owner grinding it out with intentional effort to get to investor level doing no work is about a 3 to 5 year journey. Could be done a little bit less if you really ramp it, but you've got to unravel a bunch of things. It's a pretty cool place to be if you decide to go there. You might just decide to go to business owner level and stick with, 500 hours client delivery because you like the work. But if you really want to run a business that works without you, we've got to put a lot more pieces in place, a lot more systems, organizational structure, different products, different client types. It can be done. Let's meet someone who did it as we kick off this webinar. Here is Mackie McNeil. Let me just, I don't know if I clicked the sound button, but Mackie's going to talk to you in a minute. 3-year process, right? This is 3 years. She went from 1 to 2.5 million, so still a small firm, on track for 3.5 this year, 2024, and 0 chargeable time. Someone, when I hit the button, just put a yes that you can hear Mackie. Mackie, where are you?
Hi, I'm Mackie McNeil from Mackie. When we joined the boardroom, we were a tad under $1 million and frustrated by our lack of scale for our cutting-edge, unique CFO services. We were coached by Rob for 3 years before we went it alone. Today, we're at 2.5 million, and we have the strongest pipeline I've ever seen moving into 2024. So I fully expect we'll close that year at 3.5, or we may even double. I'm not sure. We'll see. When I began coaching with Rob, I did little direct client work, but I was more engaged than I cared to be in managing my team. Today, I do no client work at all. My firm is completely managed by the management team, and all prospects are closed and vetted by that team. I spend my time on the platform as a sought-after speaker and trainer, or at my farm with my grandchildren, just playing and having fun. When I started with Rob, I thought my big takeaway would be new sales. And during our 3 years, we had some revenue growth, but nothing startling. But what was transformational and life-changing for me was that as I took my team to Rob's meetings and they saw what I was trying to get them to do, which was to step up and be a fully functioning team. Since I've now moved away, my only interaction is with a weekly check-in with our COO. Our pipeline has been growing dramatically and our revenue per client has quadrupled. I highly recommend you consider Rob's services if you want to have more time, more money, and more freedom.
A lot of people think this investor level is sort of bogus, right? I was talking to one of our existing firms last week or the week before, and he said, I was talking to this guy I know, and he said to me, is that Rob Nixon full of shit or what, right? As an accountant, I'm just portraying the story, right? And he said, no, it's awesome, right? It's absolutely awesome. Yes, look at that. That's Mackie, Sarah. I can tell you this is all true. Very good, Sarah. Love to have you on here. To know you're here. All true. This works, but you've got to work at it, right? You've got to work at it. And it's not just for the big firms, it's for the smaller firms as well. Connie's got a question. If the practice owner becomes investor, wouldn't he or she lose the client relationship? If staff leave, the clients may leave and the departing staff. Could you advise how to manage the risk of losing clients when staff leaves? Sure. Yes, you will lose the client relationship. You need to hire frontline people who are not partners, who may be incentivized. You know, I've got an example coming up with John out of Atlanta. You know, one of his team members, a senior person, earns $240,000, you know, paid appropriately to manage client relationships. You know, you pay the right people and you've always got the risk. Sure, it's a business. It's a business, Connie. So this is doable, but you've got to do, right? It's totally doable, but you've got to do. When we dug into the report, we asked a question about key issues and key opportunities. It was really interesting to see what the votes came in at. Here's the table of what the key issues were in the respondents in the report. Number one, efficiency, 61%. By the way, this adds up to more than 100% because we had a 1, 2, 3, rate these 1, 2, 3, and people put in, you know, there were variations that add up to more than 100%. So basically 61% of the votes were efficiency, finding people 49, not enough A-class 47. Mike, the key to the business for our CFO service, charge more, pay more staff, fire bottom 2% yearly. Mike, yeah, I love Mike. Mike's awesome. We'll talk about Mike later on. So efficient, thank you, Mike. Thank you, and Sarah as well for contributing. All three of these top ones, efficiency, finding people, and not enough A-class clients, are fixable. All fixable. Yes, it may be an issue, but with intentional effort, they're fixable. Efficiency. Is it a workflow problem? Is it a technology problem? Is it that you let the clients dictate the terms to you instead of scheduling all the work in when you want to do it? Is it the clients at the client side, their bookkeeping service people, are not very good, so take it away from them? Is it lack of administrators? What is it? All of these problems are fixable. Finding people. Finding people is a marketing issue. Yes, I get it. Most people are employed. The good ones are already employed. So if they're already employed, then why would they shift? They need good reason to shift. That is a marketing opportunity in disguise to encourage them to shift to you. Just like a good client. A good client is already serviced by an accounting business right now. Why would they shift to you? Good marketing and proven results, of course, will encourage them to shift. Finding great people is a marketing opportunity, not a problem that, after 30 years, folks, after 30 years, I've heard it every year. We can't get enough good people. I said, well, what marketing are you doing to get people? None. No wonder you can't get enough good people. And A-class clients is the same. It's a marketing issue and opportunity. Opportunities. Workflow development, team development and marketing. Awesome. Again, most people just moan and groan about it and go, okay, that's an opportunity, but I have nothing about it. So on one hand, the issue is efficiency. On the other hand, the opportunity is workflow development. So what are you doing about it? We have a 25-step workflow process, which is awesome, right? Where nothing to do with software. Yes, software helps, but it's about process of how you handle it. How you handle driving time down. As an example, worked with a firm in Toronto for 3 years, about a $4 million firm. And last year, so calendar 2023, they had an annual theme called TUPY. It's a workflow theme called TUPY, T-U-P-Y, time under prior year. Time under prior year. And so the goal was 20% for the same job, TUPY, time under prior year. At 20% as a double barrel goal, and we get to 5 million, the entire team go to Mexico. In January, their year end was December 31. They got the goal, 5 mil and the 20%, and the entire team went to Mexico. How cool. In January from Toronto to go to Mexico. That's like a gift from everywhere, right? It's a gift. So it can be done, but intentionally it's got to be done. Let's talk about numbers. Let's talk about what we call our $1 million profit model. And then I've got a firm that stacks up to close to this that we're going to talk about as well. So as we look at the metrics by the way, in the benchmark report, there's an awesome metrics guide. The metrics guide is covering all the key performance indicators, the numbers. It's got targets, benchmarks in there, the equation in there as well. So let's say we've got, in this case, a two-partner firm, 13 accountants. I'll show you the drivers here of profitability for your accounting business and reduction of time for partners. That is Nirvana, profitability and time. We've got 13 accountants. We've got 5 in admin and marketing. There's a big clue there, up to 40% in non-chargeable roles. Here a 9-to-1 leverage. So we've got 18 folks, 2 accountants, 9-to-1. 400 business client groups. The future is business clients team. The future is not personal income tax returns. All over the world, personal income tax returns, governments and banks getting together are getting eliminated. So don't hang your hat on that one. And they're a massive admin burden. So business clients, yes, Colin, the slides and the webinar will be shared after the webinar as well, the recording as well. So thank you. Good to see you here from the Netherlands, Colin. Average fee per client, $12,500. Doesn't have to be massive clients. You can have massive, but $1,000 a month per client. This will give us 5 million in revenue. 400 clients, 12.5 apiece, 5 million in revenue. Salaries. We want to keep salaries at around the 30%, 25 to 30% mark for salaries. So your GP, your gross margin, gross profit, that's all salaries excluding partners, are going to be GP at a sort of 65 to 70%. 75 at push, right? Thereabouts, 70, 75%. 30% salaries. Now, that might mean some offshoring. It might mean some different types of folks, but it's all about efficiency of the people as well. Office overheads. You know, since COVID, we've had so many firms ditch the office. Far out. It's been awesome. Virtual firms. It's a thing, right? It's a thing. Around 15% of revenue in office overhead. Some of your technology companies absolutely shaft you on what they charge you because they're not cloud, right? I just see it all the time, paying loads and loads of money for a non-cloud solution. You know, let me get off that bandwagon. So total cost here, 2.25, gives us profit margin before tax of about 2.7. We want to aim for 50, 55% profit before partner salaries here. Profit before partner salaries, whilst the partner's time is down. So that's going to give us profit per partner about 1.35, 1.37 before tax. So about $1 million after tax, right? Now, here's the thing. Getting the partner time down to around 500 hours or less, that's in the business owner model. If you go to investor model, that's going to be 0, of course. Like Mackie, she's at 0. Got another example coming up later on with a firm that's averaged 61% for the last 5 years, right? They're now at 7 million, started $1 million 5 years ago. I'll get to that story. 0 chargeable time from the partners. But let's say we got the partner chargeable time down to 25%, say 500 hours. The team members' time. We're not going to push the team members too hard. About 1250 hours per team member, per accountant. Not hard at all. And so around 70% mark thereabouts. We're not in the time business. We sell intellectual property. That's what we sell. Admin to total FTE ratio, more than 30%. More than 30%. Why would we hire more administrators who don't charge their time, so to speak? Well, every accountant without administrators spends 2 to 3 hours per day doing administrative tasks associated with the accounting work. And you wonder why you're inefficient. Administrative tasks. You hired more administrators to do the administrative tasks for the accounting work, and you'll free up the accountants to do more useful work. You hire assistants to free up the partner's time, marketing people to market the business, non-chargeable people. More of them will help you grow the business. But in the past, you've not hired more administrators. Why? Because they're not chargeable, but they free up chargeable people. Average hourly rate, we're going to talk in depth about that today, at around 300 here, and that gives us the average hourly rate. These numbers do stack up, by the way, at 140. So I dug around in all of the respondents in the benchmark report and found a firm that was similar to this, right? Different size, but similar ratios, which I'll step you through. So 2 partners, this particular firm, 28 people. We've got 12 in admin and marketing, so 40% in when I met them in 2018, they were 10%. At $3.2 million, and now they've gone to 40%. Kyle, we convert in US dollars currency, thank you very much. 40%, 20-to-1 ratio, 656 business client groups at $13,000, so not a massive service offering per client. $13,000 per client. So 8.5 million. They ticked over 8.5 last year. They'll sail over $10 million this year as a 2-partner firm. Every year they just grow, grow, grow. 34% in salaries. They've got an offshore team and an onshore team. They're based in Maryland, United States. 20% office overhead. I tried to pick some ratios that were similar to my benchmark one here. Gave us total cost of 4.6, profit of 46%, so 3.8 million for the 2 partners. 1.9 per partner, only 2 million per partner. Awesome. Partner time. This has changed over the years, but last year, 2023, 6%. 122 client hours between the 2 of them. That's bordering on very little. That's nothing. It's awesome. Look at this. This is really surprising. The fee earning team of 28% are only punching 1,000 hours 1,060 each. It's not working that hard either, right? At 51%. They've got some wiggle room. They've got tons of capacity. They could probably add $1.5 to $2 million without hiring any more people here because they've got capacity in the team right now. Their admin ratio is 40%, which is awesome. Average hourly rate, 285. Yes, Clarence, the productivity hours for the whole year, so the whole 52 weeks. So you might have worked hours of 2080 or 1800. If you're in Australia, it's 1687. So that is 51% of 2,000. I just pegged it at 2,000 hours, 2080 actually. I pegged that at 2080 standard sort of worked year for most firms. 285 average hourly rate. And then for client work, sorry, all hours worked, $115. So this is an example of what can be done over time. Let's hear from the man himself, Jason Parr.
Hi, my name is Jason Parr. I'm with Parr, Mellis and Associates. We have been with Wendy and Rob Nixon and Profitable Partners since middle of 2018. The first year we grossed about 3.6 million with about 750,000 net to each partner, 2 partners total. And now, 5 years into it, after following all of their recommendations and implementing all of the processes and the marketing and scaling everything, we will do about 8.5 million this year, and with about 2 million net to each of the 2 partners. I can't recommend their services enough. It's been, a godsend for us, and obviously the proof is in the numbers. So if you have any reservations about joining Profitable Partners, don't have them, just go ahead and do it. Thank you.
So consistent effort over a 5-year period, consistent growth, but growth in the right areas, growth of top line for sure, more clients, more services per client, but growing the margins, the average hourly rate. For example, when I first met Jason and his then partner Reed, their average hourly rate was about $160. I'm going to talk about the impact coming up pretty soon on average hourly rate. Now 285, right? That's a massive, massive change. So this is doable, but you have to do. This is there to be done if you choose to, right? If you choose to. Let's talk about profitability. I've got 3 insights. Out of all the insights in the report, I've got 3 major insights. First one is going to be profit per partner. The profit per partner in this report in the profession has grown every single year. On the lower quartile, 25% was $310,000. I remember years and years ago, that would have been the best result. Median result, 503,000, 412,000 last year. This is the 3rd year we've done this, 412 last year. A bumper year for the accounting profession. Median, halfway result, not average, but median was 503 and 76. The upper quartile, 692. So the 75% mark, $692,000. You can make a decent lifestyle at $500,000. Decent. Nice house, kids' private school, nice vehicle, contribute to charities, country club, that sort of thing. But will it make you wealthy? Will that number, or whatever number you've got right now, right? Will it make you wealthy? This business, this accounting business you've got your hands on should create wealth for you. It should be fuel for your life, not your life. This accounting business can produce profitability, and if you structure it correctly, like Jason and now partner Hunt, with 122 hours, lots of free time in their hands, this business can create, thank you, Kevin, words come out of my mouth early, right? Generational wealth. It can. and I've seen it time and time again. The best result we had from a firm in Florida was a tad over $4 million for a sole partner firm. Mike is online. I saw Mike pop up before. Sole partner firm in Florida. Here's the breakup of what that looks like. And this particular firm has gone in our benchmark report every single year. And every year they get better and better. They topped the charts of profitability last year. There's Mike Hajic III. Topped the charts last year at 3 million. They topped the charts the year before at just over 2 million. And now they've gone to $4 million. And it's awesome. We don't coach this firm. In fact, we said no to this firm. Mike and I had a conversation, and yes, Mike and I had a conversation about 2 years ago. I said, Mike, you don't need us, right? Here's some things. Just go and do that. So Mike, just so you understand, this particular firm does not need what we do. And we gladly send Mike content and messages, but we don't take $1 off Mike, never have. And if he stays the same way he is, never will. We don't need to. He doesn't need us. We don't need him. But awesome result on their own. Awesome result. So one partner. They have 15 accountants. They have 4 admin and marketing. Mike, if you wanted to grow more, put some more in admin and marketing. I did tell you that 2 years ago as well. Revenue per full-time equivalent person, $341,000. Awesome numbers, top line numbers here. Leverage coming at 19-1. We don't need more partners, right? We need partner time down. We need better structure, better growth, right? Revenue was $6.9 million, grown from just over 5.2 last year. By the way, if you pick up the 2020, so this is the 24 edition of the benchmark report, reporting on 23 numbers. The 23 edition reporting on 22 numbers. You can, if you grab that one or if you've already got it, compare them both because that's Mike's numbers from 22 to 23 here. Salaries at 2.4 million, overheads 484. Love that. Love the fact that we've got the overheads less than 10% of revenue. 2.8 total cost, profit of 4 million and 16, 58%. So nearly bang on my 55. Awesome result. Now, productivity of the partners down to 25%. This was 2 years ago, 100%. Come down, 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 and the profit's gone up, 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 right? Because we put the partner time to better use. The team members, the accountants, still cranking it out at 97%. Bit too high in my books, but it is what it is, right? Average hourly rate for client hours at 226. So I would say, and of course, what we call sustainability index is 94%. That basically, because the partner contribution is minimal to the revenue and the profitability, with this, the partner could go away, as in chargeable time, and this business would still perform. What I would do with this firm, I know Mike's listening. He attends webinars all the time, which is great. Happy to help out for a rock star firm. I would concentrate more on average hourly rate, bumping that over 300 and reducing the accountant's time to get more capacity so it can grow even further, right? Reducing by adding some more marketing and administrative people as well. That's what I would do with this firm. But hey, it's working at $4 million and the partner time is coming down as well. It's a pretty good result. If we invest it wisely, as Kevin Bassett said, generational wealth, we can create generational wealth here. You're welcome, Mike, right? One day we'll physically meet. We've met on Zoom before. Mike's in Florida. One day we'll physically meet and have a beer and toast your awesomeness, Mike. There you go. Now, Mike is a anomaly here. He's an anomaly. The vast majority of firms need our help, right? Mike is in the instance of 1%, of the 1%ers. Most need our help because most are not in that position. But having said that, we give free stuff as well to a lot of firms. Let's talk about the drivers of profitability. The number one driver of profitability is, without a doubt, average hourly rate. Without a doubt. We're going to talk in depth about this so you get it, right? And I've got a new, would you believe it, I've got a spreadsheet to show you as well. We're going to switch screen, switch screens as well. So Mitch, sustainability index. So let's say you've got, we use $1 million in revenue, right? Let's say we've got $1 million in revenue and the partner contribution to the revenue is $100,000. So the team are doing 90% of the work, right? That means that we've got, because the partner contribution of revenue is mostly profit, that I would say that business has got a score of 90%. The maximum is 100%. If you had a score of 100%, that means the partner contribution is 0 to the revenue. Let's say a $2 million firm with 2 partners, and the partner contribution is $1 million, then I would put that at 50% sustainable. You know, so it's at risk. Got it? Thank you, Mitch. It's an equation. By the way, that's explained more in the, I was going to say the book, the magazine. It's in the report, right? Let's talk about AHR. Average hourly rate. Here's the equation. We've got 2 equations on this, but this is the one I want to focus on. Average hourly rate, client hours. So the client delivery hours is going to be the revenue billed divided by the client hours taken. Average hourly rate, client hours. If you see average hourly rate, all hours in some of our work, that is for all hours worked into revenue. So you've got 10 people, you've got 2,000 per person worked, 20,000 worked hours, 2 million in revenue, $100, right? In this case, I just want to focus on the client delivery hours, the margin on the client work. Here's what the report told us. On the lower quartile, $139. On the median result, $184. Median result, $184. That's halfway, right? The upper quartile, just $222. Best result, $645. I've been talking about $500 average hourly rate for quite a few years now, that's doable. And we've seen firms tick over now to now $645 as an example. That particular firm is in Washington State, specialist tax business, charging appropriately for their intellectual property. I want to focus on a different firm, though, not that particular one. I want to focus on a firm because this particular firm in Atlanta, Georgia, has got some other things going on which are very interesting, including a high average hourly rate. Then I'm going to show you how to increase average hourly rate. Bit of work to do in Europe. Yes, you do, Colin, right? Get on with it. So this particular firm, 1 partner, 5 accountants, 4 admin and marketing. Interesting. They have a marketing coordinator, marketing assistant person, lovely lady, I met her, and a salesperson as well, a full-time salesperson and a marketing person. Revenue per person, 233. We've got leverage, 9-to-1 ratio here. We don't need more partners. Smallish firm at $2.4 million in revenue. So 2.4, we had growth last year from 1.9 to 2.4. Salaries of $1 million and 95. Office overheads, I think, are too high at 742. Total cost 1.8. And profit here is 552. Quite low because I'm about to show you why. Excuse me. 23% profit margin. Productivity of the partners, literally nothing. John does nothing. John manages and then develops the firm. He doesn't sell. He doesn't market. He doesn't hold client relationships. He steps in and out of meetings every now and again and glances a review every now and again. So literally working 2% of the year. Productivity of the accountant, 68%. Nothing wrong with that. Average hourly rate, 392. Awesome. And sustainability index here, very high at 86%. Now, why did I pick this firm? 1, because of the average hourly rate, 392. But what's interesting as to why the profitability is low. What John did, we've been working with John for 2 years now. About 2 years before we met him, he decided that he was going to get himself out of the job of the firm. He was the 80% guy. He was the 80% productive partner. And he decided, I'm going to invest, and he still invests heavily in other people to do my job. So senior tax person, senior accountant, marketing and sales. He's invested heavily to start with. As a result, profitability went down. However, this particular firm is fueled for major growth with appropriate marketing, appropriate sales, leverage in the accounting team. The objective that John had here was his time, right? He sacrificed short-term profitability, and this year is going to be a blinder for him, but last year was not on profit. He sacrificed short-term profitability for long-term time. Nothing wrong with that either. So how do we drive average hourly rate? He's at $392. He's got a full-time business manager, Mitch. So day-to-day, general manager, if you will, we got business manager, ops manager, like Sarah before. She said, I'm the COO of Mackie. So someone's running the day-to-day for sure. Someone's going to do that. So driving average hourly rate. There are 3 ways to drive AHR. It's called the M zone, margin zone. There's top line price, there's process, and there's reselling product at a higher margin. I'll come back to those 3 in a moment. Top line price, process, and product. We price up front, we drive the time down, we refill the capacity with higher value work. Price up front at a higher price, drive the time down, refill the capacity. Here's the effects of average hourly rate. You're going to love this. Let's say you've got profitability at 40% before partner salaries now. And by driving top line price, time down, and refilling capacity to higher margin, let's say we increased average hourly rate by 60%. With same costs, our profit increased by 150%. I'm going to show you this physically in a spreadsheet pretty soon. Pretty cool. The reverse is true as well. We can have a revenue decline with a higher margin. Let's say again, 40% profit before partner salaries, 60% increase in AHR. We can afford to drop revenue by 38% and still make the same money. We can drop revenue by 38%, still make the same money. It's such a powerful indicator. We can use it for capacity planning. Let's say you want to get to 5 million and you say, you know what, I'm going to target $250 per hour. Well, straight maths, we need 20,000 human delivery hours. 20,000 human delivery hours. Far better if we say, you know what, I'm going to target 5 million, but I'm going to target $500 average hourly rate. I only need 10,000 human delivery hours. Awesome. Which model would you prefer? And it's not about charging $500 an hour. Hourly rates are absurd. This is the average hourly rate as an output number, not an input number. Let me show you what I mean by that. Here's the profit per client model. The old way of doing it was it took us 28 hours to complete the task. We had a charge rate applied of $175. Therefore, we had $4,900 pop out the end as a price to the client. Assuming the time to do it, 28 hours, was correct. Assuming, typically, on number 2, 175, assuming the salary was correct and the salary multiple was correct to get to the correct price. Nothing could be further from the truth. So here's what we're going to do with this, right? And this is what we're going to do over and over again. Stephen, and Justice, I'll come back to your questions at the end of this. Just hold tight for a moment. We're going to flip it around, right? We're going to repackage this job with a higher price and maybe add in some soft dollar options like unlimited free phone calls and emails and communication at $6,125, repackaged, and monthly at $520, whatever that works out to be, right? Monthly fee. Now, because we've done that fixed up front monthly, we're now directly incentivized to reduce the time dramatically without reducing quality, right? So Stephen, that's part of your question, reducing time without reducing quality. Here's why. Most accounting firms, and you highlighted it in your issues, are inefficient at what you do. We reduce the time with better process. We reduce the time with different administrators in here, different technology, different way of doing it, different way we handle materials. And we take it down to, say, 20 hours. Now, our average hourly rate for this job pops out the end at 306. We priced up front, price, process down. Now what are we going to do? Number 3. Now we're going to resell the capacity. And let's say we resell the capacity on a project at $7,500. Value-based fees project. Some project the client's never bought before, that they see value and you price appropriately. And we use those 8 hours here to facilitate the delivery of that project. And now that particular line of business is 937. 937. So what is the client worth? Now 13.6. Same 28 hours. And now this client, the average hourly rate is 486. We took the average hourly rate from 175 to 486 for this client by higher price up front, better process time down, and refilling the capacity with value-based fees. How much extra profit did we make? We made an extra $8,725 profit on this client. And we do it over and over and over again. We do it over and over again. Let me put that into context of doing this over and over again. Let's do this. Just going to stop that and go here. What accountants conference is not complete without a spreadsheet. So I was going to do this live, but I realized I can't view you on the video. So, which was my mistake. So what we're going to do is we are going to have a fictitious firm here, and I'm going to show you the multiplier effect of what I just showed you on screen, on the PowerPoint screen. I just picked a $2.1 million firm here, profit at $765,000, 14,250 hours. I said to them, you know, you've got capacity now of 1,250 hours. So this is without efficiency. This is just straight out. Our utilization or productivity is a bit low. We've got 1,250 hours of current capacity. And we've got, therefore, an average hourly rate of 147, dividing the 14.2 into the 2,100, 147, sort of about median result. Now, I mentioned before, there's 3 ways to drive average hourly rate. There's the price. So top line price, which we want to measure that per client, do an analysis per client. We may have an across-the-board price increase. We may have different price for different clients and different price for different products, right? We've got process, so process improvement, time down, targeting time under budget, technology, workflow process, and then stop over engineering, right? Many firms spend too much time that they don't need to, doing too many things for the client they don't need to. Product, we're going to now resell the capacity at a higher average hourly rate. So new clients, existing product, existing clients, new product, existing clients, and new product, new clients, right? The 4 ways to drive product. So let's have a look at some numbers here. Let's say we increase the price by just 10%. You know, you'll need to do it more than that, but let's go with 10. Process, we put workflow process in place and we're able to shave, you know, Mike says 25% of the traditional CPO film can be eliminated with any quality reduction, 25% down. Let's go to 15%. Let's reduce it by 15. So in this case, we're going to save about 2,000 hours, plus we've got 1,250 up our sleeve. By the way, this is a little capacity planner on average hourly rate. Happy to share it with you. I'll tell you how we can do that in a little bit. And then what we're going to do with the new capacity that we've realized without adding extra accountants, read the top line, driving AHR without any extra accountants. What we're going to do here is we are going to resell the capacity we've earned and freed up at a much higher average hourly rate. The new clients never bought you before, so they have no idea about the price. The new service to the existing client, they've never bought it before, they have no idea about the value of the price. So we're going to get better. We're going to get better and better and better at our sales skills, the way we position things, the way we articulate value for the new average hourly rate. And let's say that's just $3.50 as an example. So now let's see what this does to our firm. There are 4 variations, actually more than 4 variations of these 3. Let's say we just did price only. If we did price only, we just did a price increase, then our revenue goes to 2.3 million, our profit to 975, we made an extra 210,000. Our profit margin went from 36 to 42, nice. Same delivery hours, and our average hourly rate went from 147 to 162, not bad. What if we just did process only? We just focused on efficiencies and workflow. Well, revenue and profit the same. Average hourly rate went up to 173 because the time went down, assuming priced up front. But our hours went down to 12,100, but we didn't refill the capacity. What a waste. I've seen this happen. We just focus all year on workflow. We reduced the time by 20%. Did you refill it? No, we didn't. Well, that was a waste. What if we did price and process? Now, this is a little bit better. Again, because it was top-line price, we didn't refill the capacity. We've got 210 extra profit here. Average hourly rate now 191 because of the combined of the two. But the same 12,000 hours because we didn't refill the 2,000 hours that we had. What if we did all 3? What if we did all 3 and we increased the price, reduced the process, and we refilled the capacity? The existing capacity that we had of 1250 and the new capacity as well. Now we're getting exciting. We made an extra $1.4 million profit. Profit margin 62%. This is without extra accountants. You may need some extra costs in here. Same delivery hours at 420, average hourly rate, look at that, $100. Average hourly rate went up by $100. $100 on 1.4 million on 14,250 is $1.4 million. Every $100 in rate, in average hourly rate in this business is worth $1.4 million. It's compound interest. It's a multiplier effect. That's pretty cool. We get serious about this. We obsess about it. By period, by the way, the raw numbers are down here. We do it weekly, by person monthly, by product, by invoice if we have to, and each client we sign up. Every firm that we do a meeting with, if you are of the size and shape that we'll meet with, we'll get you that spreadsheet as well. Pretty cool stuff. So, average hourly rate, measured by period, by product, by person, by client, and it should be increasing monthly. Here's an example of a firm that uses average hourly rate for a weekly incentive. Reducing the capacity. Sorry for my language, Connie, I've got a bit of a hoarse throat here. Reducing the capacity and reselling the capacity. Fix that with some water. Hopefully that helped there. All right, very good. Thanks, Connie. Okay, let's meet Clinton. And let me show you some numbers first of all. Average hourly rate. So these are January to April. 1.1 profit before partner salaries, 3-partner firm. 202 hours worked by the partner, 50 hours per month total, right? Per month. It's an awesome result. Here's the drivers. 328 average hourly rate. I'm going to come, when Clinton finishes speaking, I'm going to come back to him with what he's doing with average hourly rate weekly. Profit margin 67%. Awesome numbers here. Let's hear from Clinton.
Yeah, my name's Clinton Fonseca. I'm the managing partner of Sadowski and Company. We're a 3-partner firm with right now 15 people. And we've been with Rob Nixon and Wendy Miller since June of 2019. And when we started with the group, we were around $2 million in revenue and had 18 people. And what was interesting was right off the bat, Rob did a capacity study on our firm and told us we had, capacity to do about $4 million of revenue. And we kind of were going like, no, we don't think this is so, but, we said, okay, well, we're going to close the year this year at 4 million with 15 people. And we were doing 2 million and 18 people when we first got into the group. And the number one goal we had when we got in, the number one goal was we wanted to get back our life in the form of the time, effort, and energy that we spent in the firm. And that meant late nights, weekends, and that sort of thing. We wanted it for the whole team and for maintaining and retaining and keeping staff and team members, excuse me. And that was one of our main goals. And then secondly, really was profitability. And we kind of moved now because we kind of figured out the first part. And so we're moving into the second phase and have been in that second phase of just improving profitability. Where the other thing that's been real important to us is the other firms in the group and the openness with the way the meetings are conducted and the way we share information. We've kind of found out that a lot of us have a lot of similar problems, but it's really good because people are at different phases of implementing different programs into their firm for improvement introduced by performance partners. So been extraordinarily happy and look forward to a long and continued relationship with profitable partners.
So let me tell you what Clinton does every week. Every Monday morning, they have a team meeting about average hourly rate for all hours worked. Average hourly rate, all hours worked. So that one right here. If last week they hit their target, this week you work 4 days a week. If not hit target, 5 days this week. They get it 4 weeks out of 6 is the number Clinton told me 2 weeks ago. What a cool thing. Average hourly rate, a driver, growth is always happening. The team are incentivized to drive average hourly rate. I love that, right? Weekly number, 4 days this week, good to go, Fridays off, whatever you want. Let's talk about growth. Oh, let's talk about growth. A little clicker's going haywire here. So I picked a firm in the benchmark study that had 42% growth. 42% growth. Now, 42% growth is pretty cool. And the reason I picked this one, it wasn't the highest growth, but it had some really cool numbers. First of all, if you grow at 42% per year, you double revenue every 2 years. That's one reason I picked 42%. The second reason I picked this particular firm is because it's a relatively larger firm. And typically the perception is, oh, small firms can grow really fast, right? You grow from 1 million to 1.4, not that hard. But if you're at 5 million to grow by 40%, that's adding $2 million. That's a bit harder. These guys are 9 million and they grew by 42% without acquisitions last year. 5-partner firm, 42 accountants, 8 admin and marketing, so 50 team members. So revenue per person, 171, 10-to-1 ratio here. Leverage, revenue of 9.4. I missed the number there. Apologies about that. It's $9.44 million, Mr. 4. Must have my glasses on. Salaries of 4.3, 1.9 in overheads, 6.3 in costs. Profit here is 3.1. So it's still only about 600 per partner, still pretty good. But you'll see a couple of reasons why. 1, 9 million, 33% margin. Partners still doing too much chargeable time, 40%. 53% utilization of productivity of the accountants. Now, they can grow even further. They can grow much further with the current headcount they've got. Average hourly rate, only 187. So not only in the lever, they've got the levers of average hourly rate, and also they've got the lever of current capacity as well. And here, sustainability index, 21%. A large firm can grow. They've got marketing people for sure. They've got people in place to make sales. 42% growth for a $9 million firm. All doable. Before I meet Shannon, let me just answer this question. Just skipped over it. Justice. So do we feel as though lowering the cost of non-billable, where'd you go, Justice? Ours is the second biggest driver in product. Absolutely right. Yeah. So Justice, provided if we lower the non-billable time of humans, it's what they do with the non-billable time. You know, I like a healthy mix of billable time, productivity, utilization, around 70%, but not much more than that, right? We've got now time to spend in training. We've got time to spend in, courses, learning, mentoring, 4 days a week, all that sort of thing. Definitely a driver. Average hourly rate is the biggest driver in profitability for sure. And if you've got average hourly rate, efficiency, and you've got top line growth, that's the whammy, right? You've got that's the whammy. That's the triple whammy there. And Stephen, just make sure your question here. Achieve all this without sacrificing quality, technical value add, empathy, and trust. I assume it involved investment up front. Yes, Stephen, you need to invest. If you want to get to investor level, like a few have in this particular meeting today, you're about to meet another one, then you have to invest. If you want to get to investor level, you have to invest. If you want to run a better accounting business, you have to invest, right? You'll need to invest in proper coaching and mentoring from us, for example. It's an investment. You need to invest in marketing. You need to invest in more administrative people. Interesting enough, the firms we coach, the average profit increase in year one is 98.2%. Double profit year one is the average. Let's meet someone who did that. This is Shannon. 5-year journey. We're talking about growth here. Grew from $1 to $7 million in 5 years. From 43% partner time to 0 chargeable time in Texas, San Antonio, Texas. 80 business clients to 140. Average fee was $11,000 per business client, now $50,000. And the average growth over the 5-year period was 63% per annum. Last year, they did not grow at 63%. They grew at 19%, but to go from 1 to 7 in 5 years is 63% average growth. They had some doubles in there, right? Let's hear from Shannon.
Hi, my name is Shannon Badger, and my husband and I own a CPA firm in Texas, and I just wanted to share a little bit about our experience with Rob Nixon's boardroom. My husband and I founded our firm in 2014, and we joined boardroom in the fall of 2018. So we were about 4 years in, and we were $1 million in revenue. We had 10 employees. We had a lot of partner billable time. And honestly, we were really struggling with owner alignment and burnout, and we weren't getting a lot of time with our kids. We had 4 children under the age of 5. And so it was just a really difficult season of life. And so we invested in the program, and we implemented for about 2 years in the program. And then we've continued to implement the principles we learned the last 3 years. And now our firm is about 7 million in revenue. We have 46 employees. We only have 140 clients, and our average client size is 50,000 per client. And we also have 0 partner charge time. So we get to come into client meetings when we want to, but we don't have any client deadlines or billable time allocated to us in the firm. And that's really been life-changing because we can focus on the firm initiatives and sales and the other places that our firm needs us, training, developing our team, stuff like that. So it's truly been a gift. I would encourage you to consider it. Sometimes you feel like you might know what you need to implement in your firm, but the reality is if you were going to do it on your own, you would have done it already. And so it's good to have a support group. It's good to have a coach. And I guarantee you the ROI really is there. And so if you're considering it, I would be happy to even be a reference or talk through our experience. But I highly recommend the program. I believe all CPA firms should be in it at some point because the tools really have been life-changing for us. Thank you.
2 years with us, 3 years on their own, grown from 1 to 7 million. After a while, they don't need our help anymore. There's something holding you back. And I don't know what it is, but I've got to guess it's a version of one of these, right? What is holding you back from achieving what you deserve. Achieving the revenue, the profit, the time, the business of your dreams, whatever you want to call it, what you deserve. You're in this thing. What's holding you back? Is it pricing and packaging? We've spoken a bit about that today. Is it the communication program to existing clients? Laziness, Roy. Interesting, right? Cool. Let's hire some people, Roy. All right. I love that, right? Is it the workflow efficiency model currently? Is it the way people spend their time utilization, inefficiencies, etc.? Is it not having a marketing function where we don't have anyone to market to? Is it marketing sales that doesn't work effectively? Is it your product mix? Or is it your people, mindset, structure, performance? What it's different, or is it all of the above, right? Is it all of the above? I don't know. Everyone's different. What's holding you back? Some firms we focus on 2 of those items. Some we work on all. We got a brand new firm, just working with them the last 2 weeks. They do not need to do any top line marketing and sales for at least 18 months, maybe 2 years. They've got a lot of internal things to sort out. They'll still double profit for sure. But before we go and drive the revenue, they're currently at 4, they're going to spend 18 months, I think, before they go out to the market to market this. So they've got a lot of cleanup to do. Awesome. Everyone's different. Sometimes what's holding you back, and this may be, Roy, where you're coming from, is not so much laziness, but comfort. It's comfortable where we're at. Hey, I get it. If you're making $500,000 a year profit before partner salaries, the median result, it can get comfortable. Let's talk about what Bob Riggs has to say about the comfort zone. He says, many of us have established comfort zone in our lives. Path of least resistance, just getting by, understandable attitude, right? We've worked hard. It may seem like a good place to be. The problem with this is that once we stop reaching, stretching, seeking, we stop growing. The comfort zone frame of mind is settling for what you are today. This may be fine today, but without continued growth, you are now all you're ever going to be. And if you're in the comfort zone, beware. Doesn't hurt, might even feel good. We need to get ourselves out of the comfort zone. Realize, as Kevin put in the chat, this is about creating generational wealth. Realizing this is a business that can provide for you and your family forever. But you're going to make some changes. As you make those changes, and you've heard some stories today, you've got some examples, you'll grab the report for sure. It's about transforming what's going on. Transforming your profit, right? Big discussion on profit today. Transforming your cash flow. I haven't even talked about cash today yet, right? Transforming your revenue, your team, transforming your clients. We've got a belief, a big belief, that all clients should be buying everything from you that helps them achieve their goals. Transforming your lifestyle, transforming your wealth, and of course, transforming yourself, becoming a better person. As Shannon said, this has been a gift, life-changing gift, making change in the firm, starting $1 million, getting themselves out of every job. That's a gift. How are we going to do that? You need 3 components. You need accountability, you need learning, and you need to share with other firms. The theme on the 4 or 5 examples I gave is the other firms that we speak to as well. Today is about content. Today, the report is about content as well. Content only, you get a bit of a burst, you'll get a bit excited from today maybe, and then it'll peter out. You get a burst and it peters out. To keep the pressure on to transform properly, you need help, right? We're here to help with coaching, with how-to tools, and implementation support. We only coach a small number per year at any one time because we're very hands-on to help you succeed. And from today, and when you get the report, you've got 3 choices. You could do nothing. That was nice, right? Pretty cool. I'll go and grab a coffee or a beer, whatever. Oh, it's evening time, like in America, Canada, Europe. It's very late in Europe, Colin, right? Very late in Europe. Do nothing. You can do a little on your own. You can do a little on your own. Or you can transform with our help to help you really implement. That is your choice. As said before, we want to help 16 firms right now. We've got capacity right now to help 16. Very specifically, you need to be more than $1 million in revenue. Now, 1 to 5 aligned partners. So the partners need to be on the same bus. Yeah, we want to grow the revenue and grow the profit and reduce the time. Ambitious, you want to have big goals because we're going to push you. And coachable, you need to implement. You need to implement as well. If that's you, then let's meet and see if we can help. We conduct our meetings face-to-face in the USA and Canada only. So if you're from Australia or Europe, which we have got, we meet in the USA and Canada. Although I live in Australia, we work in the United States. So either jump, we'll put the calendar invite there, boom, or scan the QR code. And let's have a meeting. We call it a suitability interview to see if you're suitable for us and we're suitable for you. It's a discussion. We'll assess your implementation now, where you're at. We'll look at your numbers. We'll run the numbers through that quick spreadsheet to see the opportunity here, see if there's some upside, and we will say a yes or no. We typically say no to a third, timing, not right fit, whatever it may be, and we bring the rest on. So we're here to help. We want to help. We want to help the right firms succeed and create a better business, to create a business that really works for you. This webinar was going to be up to 90 minutes. It's going to be more like 75, unless you've got more questions. Justice has got another one here. How much is, thank you, Lucy, automation to help with, you bet. Automation is not in the report, Justice, but automation is a big, big thing, particularly AI automation. Hey, team, thanks so much for being here. Glad you thought it was excellent, Natalie. We don't have anything for less than $1 million, sorry. And we have a lot of free resources, Natalie. So if you go to robnixon.com and mooch around there for a bit, 9 people, 1 partner, a lot of potential for growth for sure, ton of capacity, under $1 million. So what we say is, Natalie, you get yourself to $1 million using our free resources, then we'll help you get to $1 million profit. But you need to show us you can get to $1 million first, right? So that's the reason for the cutoff at $1 million. So we offer some free things like this webinar, like the report, books on Amazon. There's 4 books on Amazon you can buy. And also go to robnixon.com and you can get other resources as well. Thank you, Alexander. Good to see you, man. Awesome content. Thank you, Robert. All right, team. That's it. Links to the free resources. No, just go to robnixon.com. You'll find it there. Justice is automation. All right. So in video, cool. Awesome, team. Have a great day. Glad you enjoyed that. Looking forward to seeing you all again and looking forward to working with a few of you. All the best, team. Bye-bye.